Okay, all right, Kelly, take it away.
Thank you to those in attendance for today's Fortuna Chamber noon Zoom meeting. At this time, Mike has agreed to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance today. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Much appreciated. Do we have any new members or guests today joining us that'd like to introduce themselves? Yes, Thomas.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Thomas.
Welcome, Thomas.
Thanks.
We'll get to hear a lot more from you later. Are there any other new members or guests joining us today? It doesn't look like it.
No.
Okay, chamber announcements, Renee.
Yes. Okay. So you may have noticed there are decorated windows popping up all over town. I think, have most of the businesses. We're going to run around and take the final photos of the 25 businesses who are participating. So drive around town, say hi to the businesses that are decorating and thank them, and check out some graduating seniors. Let's see. So the governor announced a revised 2021-22 budget thanks to a ginormous surplus, and part of that is an allocation to HSU in the amount of $433 million to help them become a polytechnic, the third in the state. So that's pretty exciting. It's not a done deal quite yet. It still has to go back to the legislature and be reviewed and approved, but yay for HSU. That's really exciting and can be a really positive thing for our area. So super excited about that. Just a reminder, Saturday is the Fortuna Sunrise Rotary fundraiser. If you have not picked up a ticket, you can get them at Tri-Counties Bank or Redwood Capital Bank. You can also get them online if you go to fortunasunriserotary.org. There's a link there to buy them online, and they're going to have a little bingo presentation after you collect your dinner. So it sounds fun. Tickets are $75 and will feed two. And then next Monday, we're going to welcome Megan Kenny from the North Coast Growers Association. Megan is the Fortuna Farmers Market Manager, and she's going to talk about some of the things that are happening there and get us excited for the reopening of the Fortuna Farmers Market, hopefully the first Tuesday in June. So stay up to date on that. And then I wanted to, there was something that just came out about this. So the CDC revised their mask mandate last week, which of course threw California kind of into a spiral because the California Department of Public Health hadn't updated their guidelines. And so we're still kind of waiting on that, but it looks like California is probably going to stick with their current mask mandates until June 15th. So if you're fully vaccinated and you're outside, you don't have to wear a mask, but if you're at a crowded event, like a concert or a live venue, something like that, even if you're vaccinated, they're recommending you wear your mask until the 15th. And of course, if you're not vaccinated at all, you should continue to wear your mask, and you should continue to wear it 2 weeks after receiving your second dose as well, just to make sure. But those are the kind of the preliminary that's the preliminary information that's coming from California. So we'll send out more information as soon as we get it, but just keep that in mind. So, okay, that's it for me. And then save the date, June 16th, Wild Souls Mixer. We're excited. Yay. Thank you. Back to you, Kelly.
Thank you, Renee. How about some announcements from members? Becky?
You always think I have something to say, huh?
If you don't, I'm going to ask you what's wrong.
No, yeah. Well, I was definitely going to push the Sunrise Rotary one, and I got my tickets online. It's very easy and should be a lot of fun driving through, and then the bingo after when you get home. So all that information will be part of it. So yeah, it's a great one for the fire department. And also they have food barrels around town that you can do, bring canned foods for the pantry here locally. So I don't know if they'll have the any containers there. They probably will as you drive through, but I know they have them. Do you have one in your bank, Kelly? I know,
No.
I don't know where Rick Center put them, but I know that he scattered them around town. So, but they'll be there that night on Saturday night too. So just a little update. That's all I got.
Thank you, Becky. Anybody else? Merritt?
Sure, we have a fun-filled city council meeting planned for this evening. Really exciting agenda tonight. Liz Shorey, our Deputy Director of Community Development, is going to be presenting a climate action plan presentation. So that she has a slideshow that she's going to be doing for that. And Brendan Bird, our Deputy City Engineer, is going to be giving an update on the Redwood Way project. We're just getting ready to get started. We will be paving the full width of the roadway and also reconstructing it, adding some sidewalks. It's going to be great, and I really like it because it's mostly state funds and not city funds. A little bit of city funds, but not much. And then this one's really cool. Valley Pacific has donated an 8-foot mower to the city, so they bought a mower. It's about a $40,000 mower, so pretty big donation. And one of the things it'll really help with is getting the city fields mowed much quicker. And it's a high quality mower. The city's had a wider 12-foot mower for years. And I think Mike Johnson probably tried to fix that about a half a dozen times, and it's just a dud. So we're going to have a really nice 8-foot mower. So that should help keep our fields looking great. It will not be used on the medians, but it will be used on the fields. Let's see, we'll have all of our monthly reports from our different departments. And then we have a very short list of SB1 projects, which is the additional tax, the transportation tax for road paving. And so the one project that we listed was some paving on Riverwalk Drive on that list. And then there's a slight modification to a subdivision, new subdivision on Avery Court. Instead of having a public road assessment, a private road assessment benefit district, it'll be a public road. And then we'll be just discussing solid waste fees. There's a number of solid waste fees that I'd like to consider changing at the next city council meeting. One of those fees will be to add household hazardous waste services for things like the chemicals people produce in one's home, pressure treated wood. Right now, the city doesn't have a very active household hazardous waste program. And so one of the fees I'd like to pay is to HWMA, and they have agreed to let us participate in their program. And then also we have to pay the county enforcement fees, so they make sure everything happening with solid waste is going well. And then we actually have a reduction on our rates based on actual costs. So really just presenting what these rates are, the rate changes will be, and the council has expressed in the past that they want to give public fair warning and fair opportunity to participate. So just talking about it, no decision will be made tonight. And then my hope is that the council, through the discussion, will let me know what they want to see at the next council meeting. So solid waste rates are always a big deal because they affect everybody. So that should be a fun one.
Does
And
Merritt, does that
yeah.
mean that rates would be going up as a whole for waste?
They'd be going up slightly. Yeah, we had some deductions, some increases. And so I think we're looking at, for the average customer, they'd go up $1 or so a month.
Okay, but for drop off, for pickup or drop off at the dump, or I'm sorry.
Mostly just for residential service, where it's the pickup at people's houses.
Okay, all right, because I was just looking into our local here in Fortuna to take waste is about twice as much as like Willits and Ukiah.
Yeah, for the drop off and the disposal fee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something that we're not really regulating. That's something that's set more by Recology.
Yeah.
In the longer term, some of the requirements under Senate Bill 1383 is the city is going to be required to go to universal collection. And so right now, I think less than half of city houses have garbage service, and that'll be a big one because people will be forced into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it'll cost some people more, but the people who tend to store garbage for a long period of time might save some money. But people who are going on a regular basis, like once per month, will, they have to pay the minimum fee, so you don't really save much. But I think it'll be a big help for nuisance abatement. We're also being required, so people aren't accumulating garbage in their yards and garbage trailers or trucks in front of their, in front of their house. But it will cost more money for more people. So it's going to be something that'll be contentious, but we're being forced to do it by the state, just like a lot of other things. So more to follow on that one. That'll probably be around November that we really start. Well, I'm working on it now, but it probably won't really come to the council until October or November.
Okay. Thank you, Merritt. Yes, Melissa.
I just wanted to announce that we are halfway through nominations for our Best of Humboldt competition. So if you haven't nominated, or if you want to go and nominate again, you can nominate every day if you want. You just can't do it multiple times a day. So please go and tell us some of the fun ones if you haven't. And there's somebody on this screen that showed up on the nominations the other day, and I was like, wow, woo, that's a fun one. So that's happening. And then I'm not going to stay at all. God, that'd be awful. If you guys haven't spoken to Brian or Kyle yet, or even maybe Chris is a guy that you might hear, we are on a week deadline for Renee's newsletter that is going to be hitting the mailboxes. We have a wonderful cannabis survey that we are going to be releasing to our residents. So
Not through the newsletter.
We're not?
No, Merritt, that's going through the city. No.
We have not established exactly how we're going to release it, but one of the things the council said, sorry, can I jump in here, Melissa?
Okay. Apparently plans changed.
No, we're trying to think of ways that we could get input from the public on the cannabis ordinance. And before I release it, I will want to check with the council, but we thought it might be good just to put a community survey out there, a very straightforward, simple one, just to kind of gauge where the public is. And so Melissa, Renee have been helping to put that together. And I think we have a short and sweet list of questions, and it'll be interesting to see. And if we put it in the water bills, then it might be something that everybody gets and responds to. So, but who knows? We will see.
Yeah, I think that's a better avenue, because then you could do one side English, one side Spanish.
And we may be able to set it up on the city website so people could hit it too instead of mailing paper. Right, Melissa? Isn't that what you're
the whole meeting we were having here in between my announcement. All right. Well, if anybody wants an ad in Renee's newsletter, let me know. All right. Thanks.
Yeah. You're also looking for sponsors or ads for the rodeo guy too, right?
Oh yeah, that's coming up. Brian did let me know he had chatted with the rodeo group, and that is happening. I think Ken McCandless, the writer, is writing. So he's out and about getting the history down and getting it on paper. So that will be going in the first week of July-ish. So yeah, buy some ads.
Our city historian, Alex Service, I forgot the other woman's name who she writes with, that they've written a lot of books, but they're working on that and collating pictures. I do have one more announcement. The county has stopped certifying public events, so that the city will be approving events within the city, which is both great because we know we'll come up with an answer more quickly, but it's also scary because the city is responsible for making sure that we comply with state guidelines. And we do our best to put that onto the event organizers and making sure they have a realistic plan. So that's a new thing that's happening, but it means that rodeo will be going on. It means that Auto Expo will be going on. They might have some slight differences, but it's nice to have that authority to be able to
Can you add that other event one more? There's one more event I need you to say that's gonna be
Humboldt
happening. I mean, can you approve it right here?
I don't know. We have not seen a plan submitted yet. So the short answer is not until we've seen a plan.
Not.
We'll get you it. I'll have the mayor take. I'll have Sue Long. I think she might be able to help us with that.
I think he knows her. Yeah, I think he knows.
He is talking about fireworks, and it sounds like, I'm guessing they might just do a fireworks show, but without the whole fair and festival. I think that would be a tough one, but I don't know from her yet. But there's going to be a lot of energy going into all those plans and trying to. It'll take more volunteers. So I think those groups that are putting them together are really going to be in need of volunteers. So there'll be a big call out at some point.
Thank you, Merritt. All right, so unless there's any other announcements from members, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our featured speaker and guest, Thomas Nicholson Stratton from the Ferndale Chamber of Commerce. Welcome.
Thank you. Hopefully everyone can hear me just fine with a nod of your heads. Yep, love it. You guys all look fantastic nodding your heads together. I must have said something right. You know, I come from Northeast Oregon and am from a little town just like this, a cute little museum. And I say just like this, I mean Ferndale, and all sorts of fun agricultural lands and a community like Fortuna, which is called LeGrand. And just seeing this meeting and some of the commissioner meetings that I know up in Oregon, I'm just letting you all know you're a pretty rock star team just being here. So just realize that. I didn't know how many people to expect today, but having input from the city and folks that are on council and just general institutions as well as press, it's pretty fantastic. I found it really hard myself finding out that I actually knew something before Caroline Titus, and that was the actual lifting of events taking place, being certified through the county. And it's neat to have all those relationships and working with inside of a chamber. So a little bit more about me, part of the Chamber of Commerce. I also have a business called Foggy Bottoms Boys, and we're a dairy farm, and we've really changed up by really having a diversified farm. What has been set in stone for about 95 years with the same land and the same family. We still have a little piece of land out there, family owned on Cock Robin Island, and are so grateful for that property out there to be able to do some sub irrigation. We are very excited for that this year in the drought. I've been a part of 4-H for 5 years here, Humboldt Del Norte when I moved here 6 years ago, and worked with the university and helping run those programs. And now, among many things, working at the fair, working with Golden Gate Mercantile, and now with Rumiano Cheese. I found today when I was trying to figure out what I do and who I am, and literally after 4 generations of 4-H teaching each other the same exact methods and mottos, we just make the best better. Whatever I do, my sister and my family and all of our cousins, that's just kind of the life we live. So I'm just grateful to be a part of this organization, Rumiano Cheese, who has taken over Lolita Cheese Factory, and that's where I am today with that 100 megabyte per second fiber optic cable right down Lolita. I am very grateful that I am a part of this organization because we ship our milk to Rumiano Cheese as a dairy producer. And now I'm working with them trying to get this place set up and operating and running, as I'm also working up in Crescent City and going across Last Chance Grade every week, at least twice a week. So that's an interesting story if you ever want to hear more about what that project is about and how that's going. All right, so enough about me, except for the fact that I have got the coolest story, and it comes in just a form of a picture. I don't know if you can see, can you all see my slide deck there?
It's loading on my side.
Okay.
Yeah, it's loading.
Very good, let's see. For the dramatic pause here.
I don't know, you might have to get that internet checked out.
I was just touting it over and over, Renee. You think this is just like, this is the punchline. Sorry, you know, I have this fantastic slide deck that no one gets to see.
It's probably just gonna take a while to load, maybe?
Let's do this. I will switch it off just in case. We'll see what we can do here.
If you want, while you're talking and you want to email it to me, then I can share it
Thank you. Let me do that too.
if it doesn't work out. So we were talking earlier, I'll fill in the dead space for you while you're looking for stuff. Yeah, I saw, we were talking about the dollhouse being moved for the interpretive gardens and the post office getting a facelift and just the interpretive gardens getting built is pretty exciting. You got a lot of stuff going on in Ferndale.
And even more here in Lolita as I stand, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, now, how about that?
There we go.
All
Perfect.
right, cool. So this is the family I speak of. I have a son named Silas, or Teeny Farmer. I'm also known as Teeny Farmer's other dad. And that's because we're active on social media and really share about our story and our family. And so there we are out on Cock Robin Island. But our deep connection and what we live for in so many ways is advocating for the dairy industry in this place called Ferndale, California. My major goal, and so everyone's well aware up front of what I hope to do and what I hope to be a part of in the long game, is making the Redwood Coast even more diversified and having agro-tourism a major part of the dairy industry and a way to support ourselves. And that's already happening. You can see it with the many barn event spaces, the Airbnbs that are coming up. I mean, those are all just different ways looking how to connect people to agriculture. As 1.7% of the population that has direct livelihood from a farming industry, we need to find ways to connect people to their food, and we are a perfect place to do that while we support tourism. So in general, I'm just going to give you a strategy of what we're looking at for the Chamber of Commerce. A marketing overview. It includes Lolita Cheese Factory in some ways. The basic outline for today is our objectives, goals, strategies, budget, content for promotion. You can kind of get a quick layout of what we have going on in Ferndale and the little resources we have to do with a lot of might as a fully volunteer force. The purpose of our chamber is stated here, and in agriculture is included in that. And as the president of the chamber, it's been recognized recently that we haven't had a lot of active engagement through the dairy industry, and I'm again proud and glad to be a part of it. My background comes in tourism and merchandising, as well as being a part of small and large town marketing behaviors. And I am very excited that I'm using my degree in many more ways here with the chamber than I have otherwise. And this is a breakdown from information that comes from local sources, and as well here local sources in Ferndale, and as well just by Visit California data and other few sources. What you see here is the redwoods. And that is the most important part to realize. Anything that we do is capsulated in by the professionals at the Journal, and otherwise, they make sure they take advantage of this in every way that they can, because it makes sense, and you can see that by the traffic. Same thing can be said with just Humboldt in general, as it serves a general appeal across the world. And we get traffic in Ferndale specifically. This is the tourism market there, 15% return traffic, and it's even more in the Humboldt area when you go into other towns, which is pretty fantastic. We're known for the Victorian Village, the Redwoods, and that's what we've kind of changed our Heart of the Redwoods, as we've stolen it from so many others, borrowed it. Everybody likes to be the heart of it. But we are, the Humboldt County line is where it really starts for us in Ferndale. When we see the opportunity to engage with people, whether it's geo-targeting by your social media ads or where our billboards are placed, that's the strategy that we're kind of looking for. And that's our target market of these people that are traveling. You can see there in Ferndale, just got asked by a prospective business owner that left a message on our voicemail today, how many people visit Ferndale? And it's way more than 55,000, but a baseline of 55,000. And I think we're around 40,000 right now, even with the pandemic, in our fiscal year planning. So that's pretty amazing what they're able to do there on Main Street, which I appreciate all those hardworking business owners, because we need to bring more people to them to make it easier to hire people, to engage more hours in the day, not just 9 to 5, roll it up and you're out. That's what we hope to do. I mean, that's really a big part of it. So we want to increase those shoulder seasons, TOT, that help support our budget, and bring in more event and specific advertising for those events. And those are places that we have opportunity for outside revenue, where we can sell different tours, or people are talking about the ice rink as an opportunity for chamber, all sorts of different ideas, what could be in the future are to come. And we need to increase our membership by 10%. That is specific to us because that's part of our budget. So that's what we're focused on. We have inbound, outbound marketing strategy, and our outbound is pretty fixed. That's what we're going to do. It'll be the same and probably won't change. Not because it's just the old guard holding in there. It's because that's what works for outbound marketing, right? But that's what most folks know as far as doing some specific destination marketing organization strategies, outbound. The inbound part is what's so important and what we're putting more energy in this year. And that's going back to our website and focusing on the email posts that are the emails we already have, updating the posts, doing a partial social media campaign with supported events and boosting events, and then doing some general earned media. That comes back to these basic outlines of marketing strategy that is really geared towards starting at the foundation and working your way all the way around until you get back to that foundationary piece again. Going through a whole marketing campaign or several in a season, in a couple of year waves, whatever it is, and coming back to that idea that, okay, whatever has just been done, we need to update back into our core principle, and that's your website. And that's the most important landing page, among others. There's lots of different ways that marketing strategists have gone about and understanding what you can do. There's apps and all sorts of ways to engage, but regardless, there's still got to be a landing page for nearly everyone and everything. This is our budget for the year. Not very shy about it because it's public information, and we don't have a bunch to actually spend on these types of activities. But this is all basically supporting what you see on the left-hand side is our membership, and the right-hand side is what we get from TOT, outside of just our general fees. So as a volunteer board to make these numbers work, and realize that this year we're working inside of our wheelhouse and people that we know, and that's Sherry and Paul, and they've really developed and made Visit Ferndale what it is as a website and what it is in many other expressions. This last year we had to really pull back on our purse strings to prepare for what we're doing this year. And still yet, we don't have enough funds to actually make flower baskets work. And looking at the community and what the work is and all of that, like it's just not there. So those are hard realizations, but the only way you can do that is by content. Bringing that together with actual physical pieces on the website, on your social media posts, whatever that is. And in this case, it's a historic dollhouse that's going to go in the Willis Hadley Foundation or Interpretive Garden there near Pizza Co., right next to the Shaw House Inn, the longest running and oldest bed and breakfast in the state of California. So there's just another asset there on Ferndale Main Street that's going to provide an interest and intrigue. And really what that's going to do for us is make that content happen. And that's what we're going to utilize, which would also be made mention in Rumiano cheese. And that's what my main focus is right now is what was Lolita Cheese Factory has so many different answers. There are so many different answers to different people. And I can just look at a few here that I know those stories. And Rumiano Cheese is a company that's family owned and that is part of my family in the way of us producing milk with them, has purchased the cheese factory and is going to make the effort to bring production of dairy product back to the space, but more importantly, keeping that factor and that value thriving in this community. Hey, there are conversations about Lolita Creamery across the street having some folks that are interested in investing. There are conversations about railroads. Yes, I know it's crazy, but there's conversations that are happening because of federal dollars and other larger legislative impacts that provide paths to success. And that is really where Lolita is on a path to success with engagement and people being aware. Today, I am putting off my community organizing effort by going out and just walking the streets with a great friend, Brenda Juarez, who is an advocate for Lolita and has been ever since she moved here. And those are the people we get to tap into and create this content. Make what it is so special and authentic about our communities the reality of what other people see. And this is how we do it. So we're promoting, and this is our percentages and where we're going to focus our energy, because this is what you're seeing an outline of without a physical representation, is a sales funnel. It's bringing people at the top and getting them all the way down to the bottom of making those decisions and seeing what we can do to actually make those decisions with people. And that's what the authentic nature is of Ferndale. That's what the authentic nature is of Lolita. And the same thing can be said for Fortuna. And we all have wonderful assets that we need to make sure that we actually focus on promoting because they're already there. And this is a post-pandemic world, folks. So I'm open to some questions specifically about what we want to do for collaborating. And so whatever your question is, make sure it ties back in with collaborating, a way that we can actually work together. So that's your challenge.
Well, you mentioned the old guard, and as a gal who spent her youth in Ferndale, and has a father who's had a business for 40 some odd years. Oh, also mayor of Ferndale. How do you bridge the gap between what you call the old guard and the newer upcoming, sort of younger entrepreneurial spirit?
Take off the subset layer of guaranteed divisiveness that exists in Ferndale as it is. They were just loud, and that's just kind of how it is, I suppose. But really it is actually listening, right? It's actually going out and seeing whatever that history is, whether it's innate in native, which I am not, or it's just from being around and having the institutional knowledge, or it's actually going out and engaging folks. Because whatever it is, it's important is going to rise to the surface first, and that's the reality. Is a billboard, and going back to the Victorian Village billboard, this black and white with the imagery from, oh, bless me that I can't remember his name, that was the artist on Main Street and made all sorts of beautiful murals. And
Jack Mays.
Thank you, Jack. Oh, thank you, Becky. Jack Mays, and that's where they want to put their energy. So we got to figure out a way to make what that is, which is for us, it's the one asset. It is our desire that people come really in so many ways, is the Victorian Village, and just seeing it. That's our competitive advantage. That's our one asset. So yeah, we need to work that in and back into it, because what the new guard did was they made these really fun, brilliant color, or dark color in some ways, billboards that were Sean Griggs' art, and it was the best, but you can't really see what the detail is, right? The more important part is, how do you share the Victorian Village as a competitive asset? And so it's just having those conversations. It's really having great conversations. And I'm sure that's what you do too, Renee. Collaboration, is that how you guys?
Yes, we have a committee and we talk to people and surveys. Yes. Yeah.
So,
Merritt.
okay,
To put obstructions there in front of me.
oh, that's not nice, Merritt. Okay, we're going to switch over to Lolita here, Thomas.
Yeah.
They do have a small chamber, which I'm sure you're aware of, and I know they've struggled to keep it going, but they have little by little, and keeping their activities, Walker Station or whatever they call it now. But hopefully that's going to all be kind of pulled in with what's going on at Rumiano's and all.
Absolutely. And my friend Brenda is a part of that chamber, and I will only tip my toe into the next chamber when I feel right. But we are engaged. We are engaged with that. Absolutely.
You brought up Lolita. One of the things I think is really exciting is if you look at what Sean Swanson with River Life did, and he put that piece of trail together. I think Lolita is a really nice distance from Fortuna and very quaint. And it would be a nice activity for people to be able to ride their bike from Fortuna and be able to go to a cafe and get breakfast or lunch or even dinner. And it'd be a nice interflow between the community. So I'm glad to see Rumiano's considering going into there. And I think, with the grassroots effort, I have some information on. I've helped Sean kind of permit or avoid permitting requirements, but I think with a grassroots effort and getting people out there, we could clear that. He did about a mile of trail in a couple of days and works to maintain it. But if we could open that up and have people ride their bike to Lolita, I think it would be really cool and make a real synergy between the two communities. So I'm game to help explain that and get Sean engaged. And I think there's a wonderful possibility there.
So thank you, Merritt. And you receive a dozen of eggs from the Little Peckers Pest Patrol if you'd like, as your prize, because you worked that directly into collaboration. And thank you, because you took the challenge seriously. That's what I hope to do. I hope to do that, and in so many ways. We're seeing Redwood Coast Trail, and this is just knowledge of being what's discussed at the legislative. Cody, my husband, works at the Sacramento and with Sacramento in legislation and cattle council, and is a part of the Western United Dairies. And so our lobbyists all speak to each other. And what's happening right now is we're seeing that rail to trail and rail and trail opportunity. And I think to hitch on wherever that is exactly where we can help fund and make those types of things happen. I absolutely agree.
Do a little show and tell with you and Sean Swanson one day. The problem is if you talk to McGuire's office, they consistently ignore my questions at their town hall meetings about, look, we don't have 10 years and $10 million to build this trail. And when you got a guy who can do it in 2 days with $2, let's not wait for McGuire and those guys. They want a grand ribbon cutting and a golden spike. And that's just frankly we're all going to be a lot older and grayer by that time. So I think if we just take that right now, everybody's kind of looked the other way with what Sean's doing. And I have a pretty good description and permitting consensus from Caltrans, who oversees that work, that it would be consistent with railroad maintenance and exempt from coastal commission requirements and otherwise. So literally, if we could go out there outside of the bird nesting season and get chainsaws and get donations of gravel, I think we can show the county a new way of doing things that a lot of people who are more prone to, I don't know how you'd say it, the longer bureaucratic belt and suspenders approach towards building trails, they really want to have it all dialed and they want to wait to get the funding and they want to start with a paved trail. But I think we can set a new model. And I've been talking to the Harbor District about that too, for their area from Fields Landing to CR. But I think Lolita to Fortuna holds the most promise, and they've kind of looked the other way as we've been, mostly Sean has been doing that work, but we have a rationale that I think we could rely on to do that work if we want to make a grassroots effort. So
I totally agree, and thanks for reiterating the new model, because that is the most important thing, is the access part first. I agree. That's cool.
Let me know if you want to see some of that information. It'd be fun to talk with the Lolita Chamber, and I would defer to Renee as our ambassador between chambers. I don't want to get too far into that either. So, but I think it would be fun to have a shared vision with Lolita, Fortuna Chamber, Ferndale even.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just put my email in the chat there. So if you want to send me anything, that's absolutely great. And specifically with the Lolita Creamery part of this, there is a stretch right here that's pretty accessible. And the only thing that's encroachment right now is the creamery, which I think that fence can probably be taken care of in some way. But otherwise, I've kind of walked that whole area, and I don't know exactly where it would be, but it seems pretty simple. It does seem pretty simple.
Well, is it part of the railroad trestle that you're talking about, Merritt? Because at one time, I used to be a Lolitan. We talked about that a lot, and I don't know if that's part of it. Is it?
Yeah, I think we have to discuss whether we want to be on the trestle or do some of the surface roads. But I think the main part of just, even if you take the trail most of the way and then get on the city streets for the last portion. But I think the aspect I would want to focus on, people walking or riding their bikes and having a half-hour walk to go somewhere, then you feel like you've earned your cheese sandwich or latte or whatever it might be.
Wouldn't they be encroaching on some Lindsay property at some point?
No
We'll deal with
comment.
that when we get there.
Yeah, I just saw a Humboldt Creamery working on their railroad ties and things. I didn't know that was available.
Yeah, it is. Most of the railroad right of way is it's an easement or it's fee simple for the railroad. So a lot of those businesses have expanded, but of course it's something we'd want to do in cooperation. And I think it would only benefit the businesses along the way, or if they have security concerns, you can do some things. But right now it's pretty much wide open. But anyway, I'll share kind of what I had come across and what I worked on with Caltrans, and I'm available to work with both chambers if we want to pursue that vision.
So, Thomas, do you have any events coming up in Ferndale? Are you doing the memorial thing? You're muted.
Yes, we are going to be doing the pet parade, which is coming up June 5th. That's the first chamber sponsored parade that we will have had since this all went crazy last March. And then we will be having the 4th of July. Memorial Day is actually just veterans walking down Main Street. And just to tie there into, and I want to ask a question of all of you, or maybe, I don't know what's on the rest of your agenda, you guys. But really, I'm just tying back into, we have changed as an organization. We used to sponsor and be responsible for the Boy Scouts for like 84 years. And this year we stopped because the VFW was interested. And then that wasn't under our purview as much as it was for VFW. And that's changed. And we're changing potentially who's doing Memorial Day parade, but still sponsoring the actual cost of it. Realizing that, you know, a lot of these folks are on the same committees and same organizations. And what I don't want to have happen, though, is what I'm seeing here is that literally you have representation from your other organizations, and it helps that cohesive nature. And we've kind of lost that this year. That cohesive nature of events and people showing up and talking about what's going on has been lost. And so making sure that that happens is just an insight that I'm finding, and I don't want to lose that. What you guys got is great.
Yes, we do. Fortuna does, but you know, you got to get wrapped up into the spirit of Ferndale and get them talking at the same page. You know, it's all great, but you know, you got to bring them together.
Be it this, Becky. When we were looking at doing our flower baskets, the first organization that we reached out to was the Spirit of Ferndale and asked if they would like to collaborate on that effort. Because it is important that we do work together. What we would hope is also having that recognition that when we have Fortuna style flags up on Main Street, you know, that's also shared with us, I guess. I don't know. But that's just my gripe. Otherwise, no, we absolutely need to. And there has to be that collaboration because there isn't a lot of people to do a lot of things.
Yeah. Oh, that's what's made our flag thing so great, because we have so many groups that collaborate. I don't know if Ferndale will get it to go, but
yeah, I don't know.
So.
Caltrans is the whole nonsense for us.
Yeah, because you're still, is Main Street considered 211?
Yep,
Yeah.
and I got to demonstrate that reasoning to 4-H the other day when we were filing permit. You don't just go and sign up for a parade with me. We go learn the entire process, and they got to see Caltrans permits and why that is that Ferndale does that, because we don't want to pay for all of that asphalt and concrete. And that's what it comes down to is, you know, we'll have to file a few more paperwork and maybe not do so many different things on Main Street, but that's the give and take on that one.
Well, one thing I know that we'll be collaborating, I'm assuming, is the U.S. Capitol Tree Program. You know about this, Thomas? Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah, and I know there's a couple deadlines actually coming up for that.
Yeah, we were trying to get the GLC to be their parking lot to be a location for the cross-country tree wreck. Unfortunately, because of the, I don't know, 80-foot long trailer that the tree will be laying on,
can't get around.
They can't navigate into the parking lot. So unfortunately, that will not be a location. I think we'd have the same problems maybe at the River Lodge. I don't know, maybe Merritt, I can look at that later, but there's going to be plenty of opportunities. Maybe we can look at doing ornament making parties and tree skirt making parties. I know Fortuna Fabrics is excited. They have a bunch of, you know, sewers, and we can get some crafty stuff going. And I had talked to Lauren at the GLC, and hopefully they can store some of the ornaments and things there, and we can have some get-togethers and make ornaments.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
That's something that's working together. Absolutely. Just for youth and adults too. I'm sure that's something that we can get youth working together.
Yeah, definitely. And update on Humboldt Suites. What's happening there?
Great question. I drove by the other day when Diane was moving out her items, and I didn't stop and ask. That's my go-to, by the way. I don't start rumors. I go and try to ask the source directly. But I let that sleeping dog lie, and she did what she did. I do know that there was a family in town that has purchased the building. I'm not sure what's happening to it. Basically, everything is out of there equipment-wise, except for the hood. That's still in there. So I'm not sure if it's going back to mixed use or to a business. I'm not sure.
And Tuyas is expanding as well, I saw.
Yuya's is expanding, yes, into a cantina next door. Historically, there has been a door between those two different spaces, and they're going to open that door back up in the kitchen. So the kitchen will serve both the cantina and Tuyas as the restaurant. So that'll be really neat. That's coming up. Wow. You know, you can just keep pulling them, but I guess I should just list off the like 10 things that I know, Renee.
A boardroom.
Thank you. There you
Boardroom.
go. Boardroom Ferndale is going in. That's pretty crazy. Becky did ask me to give scoop on things. You know, the fire department is very important. My father-in-law, Rick Nicholson, is on that wonderful group and department there. And they went and painted red all along the sidewalk there because the easement. They forgot to do it. So he comes up to me and says, hey, do you think Paul Beatty's still mad at me? And I said, yes. And he goes, well, it was always historically red. And I said, yes, but it wasn't 3 years ago when they replaced it and you didn't do it right away.
So it sounds like you have painting
that one. I
issues.
thought that was
You have painting issues in
then-
Ferndale too that we have.
Oh man, it's just like all over. You know, what are you gonna do? And then we also have the old steeple is gonna open back up. So Paul Beatty then again is gonna open back up, and they're gonna have their first concert coming on soon here, which is pretty exciting. They've got a lot of great acts. Still have no leads on what's going on with Lino's Place, which is the old gas station across from the VI. Trying to work with someone that's interested in US Bank, just in general, having conversations and connecting the dots. And then the same thing with Tri-Counties. I haven't heard anything. I know for sure Redwood Capital is not doing, you know, this cycle fiscal year of looking at that, but it's been something I've discussed. And then as well as we have a wine and cheese bar going in right there. Lee of Edders was there next to the Transcontinental building. And now that's going to be a wine and cheese bar. They've been working 3 people in there at a time. So that's pretty cool.
What's the living space?
Living spaces next to the Golden Gate Mercantile there. Yes. Yep. At the gondola building. Good golly.
Who's putting that in?
Gazebo.
The gazebo. Thank you. Thank you. Thank Becky's like my right-hand gal there.
Oh, the gazebo is going in. Oh,
No, the gazebo is the building, and that is where Chapman's Bookery and then Living, North Coast Living is going to be. And that's
who's opening North Coast Living?
I don't remember her name. She's a teacher in Ferndale. Too many names in my head, and I haven't met her yet.
He doesn't know, kitten.
I think she has a Facebook now, Melissa, if you wanted to follow up that way.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah,
Stalker.
lots of different things happening and getting back to normal in some sense of the word. Well, thanks for being a part of my game show. I'm glad I can contribute to yours.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Nice to see you.
Yeah, this is great.
And do you have more of a meeting I could listen to? Because I gained a lot.
No, this is
No,
it.
we
were it.
end with you.
Well, I only had 20
Drop
minutes.
the mic.
I only had 20 minutes with questions and answers. But
Do you want to give our city manager a hard time? Because that's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, he's right there.
Well, I couldn't.
Be nice.
I couldn't because he actually literally did everything I asked.
It's a good.
Well,
And I helped Melissa's public comment out a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
You won't hear from me tonight. I'll stay at softball practice a little longer.
Thanks for your presentation, Thomas. Great info.
Yes, thank you very much. And you're welcome to join us any Monday.
Yes.
It's crazy.
You guys meet every Monday?
Yes. Yeah. Soon, hopefully we'll be meeting back in person, probably sometime after the rodeo, maybe after Auto Expo, end of July, somewhere around there.
We're adding another meeting too. Yeah, there's a lot more to discuss and do. So we're adding another.
So when are your meetings going to be? The first and the what?
Yeah, so we'll have a board meeting to discuss action items on the last Monday of the month. The first Monday of the month will be a general meeting, and then we'll follow it up with any, loose ends on that second Monday.
And your general meetings are open to the public, right?
All of them are open. Mhm.
Nice. Oh, good.
They're very informative, yes.
Thanks. Yeah, Becky actually has been the liaison unofficially or officially. I'm not sure what you tasked her with spying on, but I've already given you everything. So,
I know.
But yeah, you attend a lot. I appreciate it.
Yeah, try to.
She's everywhere. I swear she's everywhere. I know. That's why I keep trying to convince her to stay on my board because I don't want to lose her. Yeah, see, Kelly. Yeah.
She's the social butterfly of Humboldt County.
Yeah, right.
Yes, and soon we'll have a ribbon cutting for Sarah's new location on 12th. Yes.
Yes.
Rivers,
My
yes,
daughter
so-
moved her business. Yep. Today it was her first day open, so it was a crazy weekend getting ready. So good spot for her.
Nice building. She'll like it. Awesome. Okay.
What building was it? Where did it go?
It's the old Don Brown State Farm building on 12th and N. Yeah, so Six Rivers
Yeah.
Property Management is moving in there now.
Much better.
Great. Yeah, very, very
Yeah.
cool. Although
Well,
I did like their little drive-up window on the 7th Street. building.
They have a window. Chris put it in. They're still.
Oh,
Yes, Chris, that hunky dude did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. That hunky contractor, Thomas is getting a good peek at it too.
All right, you two. Thanks,
Okay.
everybody.
Thanks,
We will-
Thomas.
Yeah, thank you, Thomas. We'll see everybody next week. Bye. Watch City Council. Okay, bye.